When you think of Christmas movies, most think of such classics as It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, A Christmas Carol, Elf, and even Scrooge.
I'm the ghost of Christmas present.
Yet since 1988, something strange has happened. Steadily, over the decades since release, one movie has surprisingly broken into many critics' top 10 Christmas movie list that you wouldn't normally expect to see there. And that movie is Die Hard.
All right, this is culture.
Which is odd, because there are plenty of films set at Christmas that are similar, such as 1987's Lethal Weapon, but they're not as revered in the same way. In fact, for many film fans, it isn't even Christmas until Hans Gruber has fallen off the Nakatomi Tower. And it's also a common argument. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie, or merely a movie set at Christmas? So sit back, take a sip of the old eggnog, and roast a chestnut by the open fire as the film fellas explore what it is about Die Hard that made it one of the best and most beloved Christmas films ever. Based on the 1978 novel Nothing Lasts Forever by former cop Roderick Thorpe, Die Hard could strangely have starred none other than Frank Sinatra, as he purchased the rights to the book before it had even been written, after starring in a movie based on another of Thorpe's books, 1968's The Detective. The book differs slightly from the film in that the main character is called Joe Leland, and he is heading to LA for Christmas to visit his daughter, Stephanie Gennaro, an executive to foreign-owned Klaxon Oil. He has some chemistry with a flight attendant on the plane, Kathy, and gets her phone number, briefly referenced in the final film with that look, but parts ways with her at the airport to go and meet his daughter. Once he arrives at the Klaxon Oil Christmas party held at the company's skyscraper, he realizes Stephanie is involved in shady business deals. Tired from his flight, he takes a stranger's advice to remove his shoes, wash his feet, and walk around barefoot to fight jet lag.
Fish with your toes.
Then, terrorists burst in and take over the office. Sounds familiar. The film was pitched to studios as Rambo in an office building, and Jeb Stewart was tasked with writing the adaptation of the book. He was under financial pressure, as well as pressure from his wife. And fortunately, an argument with his wife, where she was completely in the right, culminated in him overcoming a mental block in his adaptation. Up to that point, I didn't have a character. There was no John McClane. The hero of Die Hard was just Joe Leland. But to have a guy who was stubborn enough that he would come all the way out to LA to apologise and then not do it when he had that wonderful opportunity, that was sort of where I was at that particular moment in my own life. The important aspect of the story that may go some way to explaining why men in particular love the John McClane character, along with him being a character in a long list of reluctant heroes, is that John McClane is a flawed, angry hero. A man learning a life lesson in the hardest possible way. He manages to become a better person throughout the movie, but not an entirely different person. The script was greenlit in June 1987, the following day after being submitted, largely because 20th Century Fox had no summer blockbuster scheduled for summer 1988. A very quick casting process was undertaken, and the role of John McClane was offered to a who's who of Hollywood stars, including Stallone, Gere, Eastwood, Ford, Reynolds, Nolte, Gibson, Newman, Caan, Pacino, and even Schwarzenegger, with Willis being finally chosen after CinemaScore's analysis highlighted that his starring in the movie would not negatively affect the film's chances, despite him only ever starring in one movie, 1987's lackluster Blind Date. Stewart's script was then rewritten in pre-production by Stephen E. D'Souza to add more comedy and also look at the film as if the villain was the protagonist, McClane the terrorist, in his well-thought-through plan. It was only halfway through production that the character of McClane, someone who doesn't like himself but is a true all-American, was fully formed, with McClane's catchphrase taken directly from the cowboy children's entertainer's catchphrase, "Yippee-ki-yay, kids," to emphasize that all-American feature.
Yippee-i-yo-ki-yay, yippee-i-yo-ki-yay.
Well, the food's as good as the floor show, it's all right.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
When Die Hard was released on July 15th, 1988, its immediate success soon proved the critics and the studio wrong. The studio had only predicted modest returns on its reported $35 million budget, while critics weren't exactly glowing with their praise, with famed critic Roger Ebert only giving it 2 stars out of 5. Without the deputy chief and all that he represents, Die Hard would have been a more than passable thriller. With him, it's a mess. And it's a shame because the film does contain superior special effects, impressive stunt work, and good performances, especially by Rickman as the terrorist. However, viewers immediately connected with the character of John McClane, and Bruce Willis found himself transformed from a goofy sitcom regular into an action movie icon practically overnight. And in the decades since, Die Hard has become a perfect example of one of the greatest action movies ever. A film that spawned hundreds of imitators and an entire movie franchise. A view supported by Empire in a retrospective review in 2000. John McClane's smart-mouthed New York cop was a career-defining turn, mixing banter, action heroics, and a dirty white vest to stunning effect. Acting up to him every step of the way is Alan Rickman at his sneering best. But the script and the cast are pretty much flawless. The very pinnacle of the 80s action movie. And if it's not the greatest action movie ever made, then it's damn close. But we're here to take a look at why Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and not a movie set at Christmas. So let's take a look at why it's the former and not the latter. In his examination of why Die Hard has become a beloved Christmas movie for Digital Spy, and not merely a movie set at Christmas, writer Stephen E. D'Souza noted that Die Hard takes place entirely in the Christmas holidays, while only the first and final scenes of White Christmas are set during the holiday season. The entirety of Die Hard is also set at a Christmas party, while only the end of its 1950s counterpart is set at a Christmas party. Interestingly, there are 4 Christmas songs in Die Hard, compared to only 2 in White Christmas, and in Die Hard the party venue is threatened by terrorists, while the one in the earlier movie is threatened by foreclosure. D'Souza goes on to note that there are broadcasters with hidden agendas in both movies. Dick Thornburg in Die Hard, and Ed Harrison in White Christmas.
You don't want to give me a truck? I'll go and I'll steal a truck.
Hey, give us a break, Thornburg.
Eat it, Harvey.
4, 3, 2, 1.
While there are also German ringleaders, namely Hans Gruber and Adolf Hitler. However, the most startling figures are when it comes to the body count, with 23 deaths in Die Hard. Yet, if you count off-screen casualties in White Christmas, they tally up to over 26,000. Stephen E. D'Souza eloquently explaining this. Some people say to me, Die Hard can't be a Christmas movie because you kill people. And I say, was Ellis killed? Yes, he explained. We don't see Ellis killed. He's off camera. Does that still count? Do off-camera deaths count? Yes. Well, if we're counting Ellis, now that you, my skeptic about Die Hard being a Christmas movie, admit that off-camera deaths count, the body count in White Christmas is 26,128 people in the Battle of the Bulge, the opening scene in the movie. Finally, D'Souza notes that the selfless sacrifice in Die Hard is Bruce Willis's John McClane running barefoot over broken glass, while White Christmas's one is only Danny Kaye upgrading Vera Ellen's train ticket. Case settled, we say. But let's look at some other reasons why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. One of the many memorable aspects of Die Hard is Michael Kamen's score. A score that brilliantly mixes his own original compositions with John McTiernan's desire to pay homage to A Clockwork Orange by including Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Kamen's final score mixes the melodies of Ode to Joy, Winter Wonderland, and Singing in the Rain mainly to underscore the villains. But it's the frequent callbacks to these melodies throughout the film that add a wonderful Christmas feel to the proceedings. Kamen had enjoyed a great deal of success the previous year when he scored the first Lethal Weapon film, interestingly another action cop movie set at Christmas. But who, prior to 1987, and despite being an American, had worked mostly in the British film industry on movies like Brazil, Edge of Darkness, Highlander, and Mona Lisa. Commenting on the music, the team at AlanRickman.com noted that the score of Die Hard contains hardly any original note of music in thematic terms. It is a collage of quotations from a wide variety of sources. At the most obvious, even banal level, the holiday season is evoked by the use of several yuletide songs. Significantly, none of them religious, and all of them invoking a snowy landscape that did not occur in the Los Angeles setting. And in fact, it's worth noting it's Alan Rickman's character Hans Gruber that gets all the best music cues, and not Bruce Willis's John McClane.
Merry Christmas.
As noted by Michael Kamen. Die Hard is about this phenomenal bad guy, Alan Rickman. It was peripherally about John McClane in a bunch of air conditioning ducts. I mean, Alan Rickman was as bad as you get. He was a delicious bad guy. He had such personality, so many funny lines, and such a great attitude. You were really sorry for him to go because you knew that that was the end of him. Kamen's response is deeply imprinted on his score, and his music far more concerned with Hans Gruber than with John McClane, even though it is clear that Kamen knew that in the end, Hans would have to go. But it's not just within the score that Christmas makes a mark on Die Hard. Within the movie, John McClane whistles Jingle Bells to himself, and his buddy Al is humming Let It Snow.
Outside is frightful, delightful.
Everyone is feeling in the Christmas spirit. In fact, even the limo driver Argyle gets the Christmas spirit going by playing Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC, a move that ensured that particular track became a huge hit at Christmas, despite being released a year earlier.
You got any Christmas music?
This is Christmas music.
As a side note, interestingly, Die Hard actually uses music from two other movies in the final 4 minutes. The music heard when McClane and Powell see each other for the first time is from John Scott's score from the 1987 film Man on Fire. And then, when the apparently dead henchman Carl reappears for one last scare, the score uses music from James Horner's composition for Aliens. Despite this, the music plays a huge part in what makes Die Hard a Christmas movie favourite. But there's another aspect of the film that has meant Die Hard has become beloved in popular culture and has even become part of clothing worn at Christmas parties. One grey jumper and one very quotable line has ensured Die Hard is as much a part of Christmas as reindeers, snow and turkeys. In fact, nothing says Merry Christmas more than a dead body wearing a Christmas hat with ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun sprawled across it. Or perhaps you'd like a yippee-ki-yay Christmas jumper for that works Christmas party. That's if you are intending to find a new career in the new year. But in all seriousness, along with Elf, there's no other Christmas movie that has a wide range of Christmas-appropriate quotes, memes, and merch to cement its Christmas movie status.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Just look at this Hans Gruber falling from the Nakatomi Tower advent calendar for one. Or this Hans Gruber Christmas tree decoration. And of course, no tree would be complete without the Die Hard Christmas tree topper. Like we said earlier, nothing says Christmas like Hans Gruber plummeting to his death.
Happy trails, Hans.
Now, we know it has nothing to do with the Christmas movie argument, but we couldn't do a feature on Die Hard without paying tribute to Alan Rickman.
They're about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
The standouts are Reginald Vell Johnson as Sergeant Al Powell, the late great Alexander Goodenough as Carl, and of course, Deborah White as Argyle. But stealing the show, as he would do in many a movie he appeared in, like this scene-stealing performance in Costner's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
And call off Christmas.
Something vexes thee.
Is, of course, the late, great Alan Rickman. Believe it or not, Die Hard was actually Rickman's first movie appearance, as he was mainly a theatre actor, with some TV credits to his name. Rickman was already in his early 40s as he made his screen debut as Hans Gruber. He was cast by Silver, who had seen him perform in a Broadway version of Les Liaisons Dangereuses, playing the villainous Vicomte de Valmont. As a result of Rickman's villainous roles, it shouldn't be a surprise that Alan Rickman is the only actor to make it onto the greatest villains list twice. He does bad deeds with such gusto. Legend has it he kept refusing the role of the Sheriff of Nottingham until it was agreed he could do whatever he liked with it, which, to Kevin Costner's rumoured chagrin, including stealing the whole damn show. Every sneer, Every eye roll, every flourish of splenetic exasperation is a joy to behold. Whether he's cancelling Christmas or cutting your heart out with a spoon, Rickman's crowd-pleasing pantomime villainy is downright heroic. Anyway, you are very much missed, Mr. Rickman. Thank you, sir, for many memorable performances. Let's get back to Die Hard as a Christmas movie argument. There's one rule that every Christmas movie should always follow, and that rule is, at the end, everyone comes home to spend a happy family Christmas. And Die Hard follows that rule. Gremlins, Home Alone, Scrooged, The Holiday, Love Actually, It's a Wonderful Life, even National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. They all follow the golden rule that no matter how the film starts, everyone comes home for a happy Christmas. At the start of Die Hard, McClane and his wife are separated. He's living in New York, she's living in LA with their children. He's visiting for Christmas to try and repair the relationship, and it's clear he's been unsupportive of his wife's flourishing career and needs to eat some humble pie and apologise. But there's nothing like a major terrorist incident to bring a fractious couple back together. And by the end of the movie, with terrorists dead and his wife saved, what happens at the end? A swift right hook from Ms. Gennaro to Thornburg's jaw, coupled with a reconciliation in the back of a limo as Argyle drives the rekindled couple away to spend time with the kids for Christmas. And we bet that Christmas certainly went off with a bang. Or two. And finally, before we depart, we'll let Stephen Fellows, a film and data expert, have the final say.
This is their idea of Christmas. I gotta be there for New Year's.
Stephen conducted a huge amount of analysis on if Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not, and his summation is, although the studio did not intend for it to be a Christmas movie, some of the film's key creators did. Either way, it's certainly fair to say that Die Hard is regarded as a Christmas movie in popular culture. Like it or not, the association between Die Hard and Christmas is fast increasing, and in the years to come, its Christmassiness will be beyond question. In short, it may or may not have been, but it most certainly is now. Agree or disagree? Leave a comment below. And remember, it's Christmas, so why not give the gift of this episode to some friends and loved ones by sharing it on your social feed? And don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at the Filmfellas UK. Thank you for watching as always, and from me, Ben, and the team at Filmfellas, we'd like to wish you and your loved ones a very Merry Christmas. See you next time.